So our topic is EMI training for Indonesian vocational lecturers. We have joined several sessions before this session. So EMI is a global trend. So in Indonesia, EMI practice replicates the global trend, and from so many several issues encountered during the practice, one key concern is EMI lecturers to TPD or TPD resources to improve their teaching or learning. In this talk or session, we are going to share one experience from several lecturers here who joined Oxford EMI training. And our story or our sharing is based on the framework or STAR. It is a very popular interview strategy. As for situation T, not task here, but the challenges, and A for action, and R with reflections. Over to you, Pak Eka.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Mala, for the time. Well, ladies and gentlemen, actually, thank you so much for the time that is given for me. My name is Wayan Dian Rahmanu from Indonesia, of course. Today, I would like to share some points that we have faced in Indonesia, what we're going to do, and what we have done in terms of lecturing our higher education students in Indonesia, of course. Well, Bu Mala mentioned STAR before, especially for me, I will share and explain and also elaborate the S letter, while my friends will elaborate the rest of the letters. Well, talking about the situation, ladies and gentlemen, we believe that Indonesia has a lot of resources in terms of doing the education, not only in the lower level of education, but also higher level of education. In Indonesia, English as the foreign language, so it means that English is only used in many times or in a certain situation. For example, in the seminar or international seminars, and also school or university, which concerned about the English. And then the situation in Indonesia right now, we believe on technology and also traditional approach. What I mean by traditional approach is we are still absorbing the constructivism and also audiovisual method and some methods that relevant with our culture. Beside of that, technology, we also use technology, but in this term, we believe that technology cannot stand alone. What I mean by that is we should modify and also mix between technology and also teaching approach. So if we use technology every single time when we teach, we believe that our students will get bored in absorbing the materials when we teach the classroom in Indonesia. So technology, for example, like mobile assisted language learning or computer assisted language learning, those technology are very, very good, but still we need another approach to make it good in the classroom. So that's from me about the situation context in Indonesia. And the next comprehension will be elaborated by my friend. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Pak Eka. Yes, good evening Indonesian time to all of the participants of ALENET. I'm Monalisa Pasaribu from Dell Institute of Technology in Indonesia. For my presentation, I'm going to talk about the T. In Bahasa, we call it tantangan or challenges that we as English or EMI teachers or EMI instructors are facing in the class when we are teaching EMI. So there are 4, as you can see over here, limitations or challenges we have when we are teaching EMI class. The first 2 were mainly about the proficiency of the students, and then the next one is about the policy on how many English courses most universities give to English courses, and then the next one will be the teaching content and teaching the language inside the classroom. So now I'm going to talk a bit about the students' proficiency. Well, as we can see in Indonesia, we have English taught in high school. However, this become the model for the students when they enter university. However, you know, some students may have varied English proficiency. Some are very, very good. Some are not very good. Well, when we have students with coming from a low English background, then that time it will be a bit hard for us to do the teaching in English since we have to work on English, their English understanding. And with the other challenge, the mixability of English, sometimes we need to pace a bit because we have students who are excellent in English, but some students are, you know, we have to slow down a bit because the students are having a low English proficiency. But I think this challenge let us be more creative in a way that we can modify our work. And then after that, the third challenge that we have is the limited English credits for English courses, because most of the time in universities, English courses are only given as a general course, and it's only given 2 semesters with 2 credits for 1 course. So it's only 4 credits for the whole years. Okay, so it's a bit a limit to us. And then after that, the last one, which is about teaching content and teaching the language, we have teachers or the instructors who are very knowledgeable about their expertise, for example, yet they have difficulties in teaching, delivering it. And the others, with the teachers of language, we have the capacity of teaching the language, yet we don't know the content. But I think with this challenge, we actually have the ability to collaborate together to, you know, make sure that the delivery and the content is well delivered to the students. I think that will be all from me as the part of the challenge discussion. Now we'll move on to Ibu Hilda, my colleague. Ibu Hilda, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Mbak Mona, Pasaribu, and also here for all the colleagues all over the world. A good morning in England and here in Indonesia is a good evening. So we are going to continue to the action that our groups here, the presenters here, we had privilege to take training provided by Oxford EMI in Oxford last year on the 21st November until to 2nd of December, which is 2 weeks time. And the goal of the training was learning teaching techniques. And also we learn about some challenges and opportunities in teaching EMI, whereas we know that we are teachers in vocational higher education right now. We're spreading all over Indonesia, and I'm Hilda Cahyani. I'm teaching at Politeknik Negeri Malang. Malang is one of the small cities in East Java. So regarding with this learning, and also we have some lessons during the training. We learn some very useful information about contextualizing EMI, observing and analyzing language, and also some teaching methodology. And of course, we did some micro teaching. This is very important to us to also referring to other countries besides Indonesia. where teaching EMI also right now becoming norm. Like those countries also at the moment until now are inviting international students as many as possible. Like in Indonesia, we are now having around like 50 million students and around 60,000 international students. And regarding with the situation, EMI becoming very interesting for us and to continue to, to improve the quality of education in Indonesia. And from this training, we trying to actually practice some of the teaching methodologies that we learned during those training. And among many is like something which is quite simple, but this is quite useful and change our insights and minds. Like for example, like we're trying to do some classroom management skills like grouping the students, pairing the students, and also trying to match the students with different different learning style and learning strategies, and also with different, of course, comprehension and also levels. And we're trying to also learn how to understand the interpersonal skills of the students, like memorizing their names, how to deal with the background of the students, their cultures. And we try to learn how questioning skills here working very well in order to create a classroom which is more lively and also more interactive, using some actually it's not new new strategies like using initiatives response feedback. We also use think, pair, and share, and trying to do a kind of method quite simple by giving students to practice chunking. So the reason here why we do this actually, like in order to change the situation in our classroom, which is like more becoming a student learning center and decreasing teacher learning center. And even though we are teaching vocational students or vocational higher education student, but we have to involve their interaction and trying to foster some critical thinking activities, also some problem solving skills. Therefore, it is very important for us to actually collaborate, like what Mona said previously, with like me, I'm a language teacher. Collaborating with content subject teacher is very important in order to gain some insights and more experience. That the goal of EMI teaching is actually besides content subject teaching and also improving student communication skill. I think that will be it. Then let's continue to our colleague here, the reflection, which is going to be delivered by Ria. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Bu Hilda. Hello, everyone.
Oh, Antonya. Okay.
Yeah, thank
All
you,
right.
Bu Hilda.
Over to
Nice
you,
to
Tonya.
meet you all. Nice to meet you all. I'm Tonya, lecturer from IPB University. I'm very grateful for the opportunity given to me, and also a privilege to participate in the first AliNet conference. Now we come to the last letter of STAR, which is R, and that is reflection. After participating in the EMI training with my wonderful colleagues here joining me today, I'm more aware of the need to set the pace and also tone emphasis in delivering the lesson, especially in explaining something and using new words or terms. The need for visual aids to introduce new words or term is also important, so that at the end of the day, students could start using those words, those new words and terms. And that, for me as teacher, can be considered as a small success. Next, the challenge for all us teachers is that we face students with a various level of English proficiency. This challenge encourages us to continue to explore creativity in teaching techniques and making a better planning preparation. Also, don't forget when you are prepare a planning preparation, don't forget to prepare some backup strategies as well. I also try to spend more time interacting with students to check their level of understanding. Because with this interactive environment, students are more approachable and more open to us teachers. The following point of my reflection is I have a more engaging class now. Because by creating a more interactive and active class atmosphere, you can see an increase in the level of understanding, the level of enthusiasm, and also the level of initiative from students. One example, I used flipped classroom approach so that in that particular class atmosphere, where students were given some resources to prepare their lesson before the class, I called it, maybe I can say, inclusive learning environment. So students can have more control on their learning journey and also feel acknowledged. Thank you. That's all for me. Next, my wonderful colleague, Mrs. Ria from Akamigas Palembang. Please, the time is yours.
Yep, thank you, Bu Tonia. Hello, everyone. My name is Ria. I'm from Politeknik Akamigas Palembang. So through EMI training, I got some reflections, about what I already did to my students. The first thing that I changed after the training is that I adapt my teaching materials again, by having more interactive activities for the students, for the learners. So that will decrease my teacher talking time. So I add more activities rather than I put more activities that can enable students to speak or to talk among them. And then the second one, through this training, I now have more well-prepared lesson plans. I add some other techniques of teaching, such as IRF and then TPS, think, pair, share, and then also I now have more time to mingle around my classroom to see what my students are doing while I'm teaching. And then the last one, this is very important thing, peer review. So observation. Now I starting from this semester, I have a regular schedule of observation. So I ask my peers to observe my class and vice versa. This is very good because I can see, because I can get the feedback from my peers about how about my teaching performance, and also another good thing, I can see how my peers, the good points from my peers in teaching. Well, I think that's all from me. And my colleagues already prepared a video about of some other reflections, and we hope you enjoy this video, you guys.
We are vocational education. This is Indonesia, an archipelagic country, tirelessly achieving its dreams, the land of great sailors, bravely riding the waves, endlessly chasing dream, yesterday, today, and tomorrow.
Pembangunan SDM menjadi kunci Indonesia kita ke depan. Pentingnya vocational training, pentingnya vocational school.
Embracing the Industrial Revolution by providing learning spaces for the nation's future generation.
Hello, my name is Amelia. Being a lecturer in engineering course is so challenging. Engineering courses deal much with numbers, calculations, analytical concepts that sometimes make students get bored easily. Many lecturers in Indonesia, including myself, still adhere to old-fashioned method of teaching. After I took an EMI training at EMI Oxford, I implemented some EMI training methods to my classes in Indonesia to make it become an interactive class. In EMI training, I learned how to organize the class, deliver the content of the subject into the class, and give constructive feedback to the students.
In my class, I always try to make an engagement with all of my students. I move students around in class, have them sit in different places in each session to get to know each other. Before I start the class, I organize students into small groups of about 4 until 5 students each, and each group consists of different levels in comprehension. I encourage students to use their thinking skills by throwing higher level questions called hot questions related to a topic I will present that day to the students. I give a couple of minutes for a student to think individually, help them to formulate their individual idea first, and then they can work in groups to discuss their ideas. Allow each group to choose the spokesperson who will present their thoughts in class.
The behavior of metal subject to extreme temperature and pressure will depend on various factors such as the type metal, the magnitude and duration of the procedure and temperature.
In group discussion, I actively listen to their conversations without interrupting them.
So it was my teaching experience with English medium instruction methods. Oxford EMI training, thank you, you're the best.
Hello everyone, my name is Aditya and I will share to you about my experience with a English medium instructions training at Oxford, and this is my experience after the trainings. When you try to teach a group of persons or group of students like this, you usually start by explaining things. You will start by explaining the concept of what you want to teach them. For example, the basic tools. Here I try to explain the basic tool to my students, but after the EMI trainings, now I understand about IRF sequence, which is the instructions or initializations and response and then feedback. So this methods of teaching is new for me, but it changed a lot and it changed radically of my methods of teachings. Now my students is for 2 weeks or 3 weeks, they are asking and they are talking about the subjects that I teach. And this is actually a great success for me and a great success for instructors or for teachers like us. So, for example, in the pictures that I show you, I just show one instructions, and they give me a lot of response. For example, they ask about the bolt, they ask about the type of the bolt, they ask themselves, and they ask me, and they ask their friends about the size of the bolt, and they ask also about the mark of the bolt. And they ask about a lot of things, and they try to use the tools in the real environments, for example, in the bulldozers in this case. So only by just using one instructions, and they already have a lot of knowledge to understand, and they already have a lot of questions that will help them to understand better about subjects. And for us, the instructors or the teacher, we just need to give one feedbacks if something goes wrong or if their understanding goes wrong. So the IRF sequence in this case is really a great success and a really great teaching methods that I learned from the EMI trainings at Oxford that I had. Thank you very much.
Hello everyone, my name is Asrizal Dedi Putra. I'm a lecturer in the Electrical Engineering Department, Politeknik Negeri Batam, Indonesia. The courses I teach are Engineering Mathematics, Sensors and Data Acquisition Systems, and Applied Physics. Last year, I joined an English medium instruction training program for 2 weeks. I obtained lots of knowledge and experience during the training. One of the topics was related to my problem is pauses and intonations, because naturally I speak too fast during teaching. During the topic of sessions, pauses and intonations, the participants of the training were divided into 4 groups. We watched some lecture videos and analyzed which video was better to make students understand the topic that the lecturer delivered. After that, we had a topic of lecture in writing. In the writing, there was no punctuation, so we discussed making some punctuation. After we finished the discussion, we practiced delivering the topic to other peers using pauses and intonations that we have prepared. From this topic, I can improve my teaching skill, especially making pauses and intonations while I speak or deliver my materials. This technique is useful especially for my students so that they can understand the course content well. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Yasin. I'm from Indonesia. Currently, I teach tool design courses, especially in stamping tool design for sheet metal forming processes at Bandung Polytechnic for Manufacturing, one of the vocational universities in Indonesia. I have attended EMI course for 2 weeks in November 2022. One teaching method I gained from the EMI course and which I currently use in the practice in my classrooms is the think, pair, share or TPS method, where students in class are divided into several groups consisting of 3 or 4 people. It is very visible that with the TPS method with groups, lectures that were only one-way teaching and also rarely had discussions become more lively. With TPS method, the class atmosphere changed. There are lots of group discussion of the questions I asked, and my supervision become easier. Students also become more courageous in giving answers to questions, because these answers are the result of conclusions from discussions in their groups. The different answers from each group led to debates in a positive context, so that the class atmosphere became lively and there was no protracted silence. Then, I, as a lecturer, will explain the correct answer solution for the further discussion until, in the end, it is concluded the solutions that can be accepted by all students. In a sense, the methods taught in the EMI training helped me a lot in my teaching practice in class. Thank you, EMI. So, next, I will show you some pictures of our activities during lectures using TPS method. Let me see first. Okay. This is the think process. Yes. In the think process, students try to answer topics on their own from the internet or textbook. So you can see in the picture, some use their laptop to find the information, and some will focus in their textbook. And then in pair and share process, students discuss each other's answer to find a final conclusion from the group's answer and submit them to the teacher to discuss again together. Okay, that's it. Thank you. Bye.
Okay, that's all from us, hopefully, and I believe that some stories will be up for the next year conference, and hope that our sharing is useful for everyone. Yeah, thank you.